How you doing?
How you doing?
It takes us way too long to get into this shit.
You know why I started not doing intros? Because I saw comments where people were like, hey, I like when podcasters just go right into it. They don't do intros. And it made me feel insecure because I was like, damn, I do intros. I do the whole, disembodied voice. Here's my. And I was like, maybe we. And so lately, I mean, you have been doing just straight into it.
Just right into it.
Yeah, we haven't been doing like long intros. So, I mean, obviously for like, okay, so next week we're going to do the fantastic review of Fallout. If you guys, I'm giving you a week to watch it. This is why me and Sam did this. You
It's
get a week.
so good.
Yeah, it's amazing. It gives me and Sam a week to like prep notes, and I'm bad at this, but learning people's names, right? So
There's a lot to digest in that show, you know?
yeah, I feel like for fantastic review, yeah, we do an intro, right? But like for this stuff, there's no intro needed, right? There's not really an intro needed,
Facts.
and we just talk and we go in. But yeah, this week we have a lot to run down. Me and Sam actually just watched the Lakers lose tonight.
Fuck LeBron. Fuck LeBron.
He has a point. I mean, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a LeBron Glazer, but I mean, yeah, I mean,
Is this the end? Find out later.
on Dragon Ball Z.
Next time.
It sucks because if this is LeBron's last game as a Laker, it was a privilege watching him. I've always felt like it was a privilege watching him, no matter what team he was on. But like, obviously, the Lakers are my favorite team, so I have a biasness towards them. And yeah, it was cool. I mean, he won a championships, even though people don't count the bubble. Whatever it is what it is. People don't count the bubble.
Got your Mickey Mouse accessories.
Oh, LeBron!
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, if the Heat would have won, no, I don't think anybody would call it a bubble ring for Jimmy Butler. So to me, that's just what it is. But I might be wrong. So I actually like when I'm wrong, instead of what I'm saying being right.
It is a little more interesting to be wrong.
It does, and it's just, and sometimes it's not bad, But tonight though, I don't think Sam watched the NFL draft. Did you? Did you watch it?
Twitter, I guess. As little NFL knowledge as my Twitter feeds me.
I'm gonna say
what I got. I got the sketch announcing that one pick. That's about it.
Well, Braden showed me that one. Shout out to you, Braden. He showed me the sketch one, and I was proud of him. I was like, "Hey,
where are you, Braden?
What you do?" We were supposed to have a guest here tonight, but but this is what it is. But
someday he'll tell us about Micronesia.
Yeah.
We'll get him one day.
This whole episode was supposed to be about Micronesia and Madagascar and swimming and how to hunt lemurs.
Zimbabwe.
And how to hunt lemurs, but he just, I don't know.
Where you at?
What you do? I actually watched the NFL draft because I
care.
Well, that too. Those two reasons. The main reason, though, is because a lot of people from UW were supposed to go in the first round this year. My favorite people from UW. Roma Dunze, Michael Penix, and they went pretty high in the draft. I noticed, though, a lot of the coverage on Twitter, when it came to anything draft, like any of the draft picks, a lot of them had white girlfriends, right? So a lot of the discourse on Twitter, which Twitter's such a cesspool sometimes, and this is one of the reasons. A lot of the draft picks had white girlfriends, and they were making fun of them, right? Like, hey, I know his mama don't want this white girl there, and why does every player that's getting drafted have a white girlfriend? And it kind of seemed like that. It kind of sucks, though, right? Imagine being the player, and like this is the biggest moment of your career, and all anybody could talk about is that you brought a white girl to your draft. Like, what if you really like her, bro? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Twitter, it is a cesspool because that's what we're talking about. I feel like there's way more storylines that could be brought up instead of like, oh, why do all these players have a white girlfriend? This is why I don't like Twitter. This is why I don't like social media. And
that's why I love Twitter.
It's for this type of stuff?
Yeah, I love... Dude, there is nothing better. One of my best friends, Brandon, he loves anything Twitter related, he brings back and he acts like we said it. He's like, bro, everyone is saying that that Curry is better than LeBron. He's like acting like we were saying it. It's
like he's mad at you guys.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, he is, but We didn't say that.
Yeah, we didn't say that. You gotta remember, we didn't say that. Yeah, I'm at fault for that. Sometimes I read stuff on Twitter and I blame my friends and family for it. Yeah, it's normal. Like, hey, how dare you guys talk about LeBron and Drake like that? It's like we didn't say that about Drake.
Love you, Brandon.
Love you, Ben. I don't know you, but love you, bud. But yeah, bud. I'm gonna call you. I'm probably older than him, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You're about that, bud. You're
He's
about.
got like 8 kids though.
That's great. I have 0, so maybe age isn't nothing but a number apparently. So, I mean, but yeah, no, the discourse about the white girlfriend thing, it sucks because like love shouldn't be. I feel like if these guys truly love those girls, it shouldn't be about that. But I get why Twitter would talk about it, right? But it's like that's kind of what makes me want to stay off Twitter. I'm like, dude, these takes are so bad, but the bad takes are always the ones getting thousands of likes, almost millions of views, like hundreds of thousands of views on Twitter. And it makes it seem like that's what a majority of the people think. And I don't think a majority of people think that way. I think it's just kind of like an entertaining troll. I don't even know what to call it. I think that's why people support it half the time. Like, oh, well, that's crazy. You like it. Right. And so I don't know. Should we care? I mean, imagine, I'm going to sound like a typical white guy right here, right? But imagine on Twitter if that was about any other skin color or race. How bad that sounds.
Yeah, it just sounds bad.
It does. I mean, I get it. Hey, the white guy saying this. Imagine, and it's right, but imagine, and it's like, hey, imagine this discourse happening over any other skin color race. That's why it's cringy to me, because Twitter has kind of evolved into this kind of cesspool of like, oh, if you have a white girlfriend, a white boyfriend, it's weird to me. I get it. I get why it exists. I'm not dumb. I know there's nuances. It's just like these players had the biggest moments of their lives, right? You're getting drafted, your family's there, your girl's there, you're happy, you're about to get like $1 million job for most of these kids. And these kids balled out to get it. And the only thing you guys can talk, and that's how I know you guys aren't real sports fans. Real sports fans don't talk about this, and real sports fans don't care. The people who care that these kids brought white girlfriends to their draft party is like, they're not real sports fans. I'm sorry, but real sports fans don't care. We care about other stuff. Unless, okay, now if this guy brings a dog or a cat or an animal or something that's like, okay, bro, what? Then we talk about it. Right? I'm not about to sit here and be like, well, he brought a Guatemalan girlfriend. He brought a European. She's from... No, I'm not doing that. That's how you know you're not real sports fans. That's how we're going to... I think that's how I should end us. You're just not real sports fans.
You're not real sports fans. You're NPCs. All you see is... like, who cares at the end of the day? Like, how's it affecting you in any way, shape, or form?
No, and then they were kind of putting words into the family's mouth like, oh, I know his mama don't like that. Like, what? How do you know his mom doesn't like that? There was comments on Twitter saying like, hey, they shouldn't even have had their white girlfriends there. Like, this should have just been a family event. But if that's his girlfriend and he loves her and that's someone he's going to want to date in the future, he's going to bring her. I tell Braden this all the time, right? I said, bro, if you love, and I made this same mistake, okay? I made this same mistake growing up. If you love somebody and that is someone you're gonna put a kid in, you're gonna marry this girl. That's someone you say you're gonna be with forever, right, Sam?
Yeah.
And you don't put her first, or you don't invite her to these type of things. I'm gonna have a kid with this girl, but I'm not gonna invite her to my draft party.
No.
What is Twitter talking about? This is why I don't like Twitter. I'm sorry, I go on Twitter all the time, but this is one of the reasons why maybe there should be some regulation on online use, because what are you talking about? I tell Braden this all the time. If you're going to choose to put a girl in this woman and you're going to choose to be with her forever, you got to put them first. You're going to put a kid in this broad, but you're not going to put her first? What are we talking about? This is why Twitter sucks sometimes, dude. It is what it is, right?
Yeah, I think you just have to stay away from the comments. Usually the posts themselves aren't the worst.
It's the comments.
The comments just pile on to already usually... I mean, most of Twitter these days, unfortunately, because of Elon Musk and his new way to make money on Twitter. It's just kind of like, oh, let me repost what this person said because it got a lot of clicks, it got a lot of views. So I'm going to do that so I can make my $200 a month on Twitter.
Hey, I mean, I get it, but I don't. And at the same time, like, I tell a lot of my young bulls at work, I tell them, like, you guys might encounter the worst generation of women to have ever existed on this planet because of social media. That's not a knock at you, ladies. I love women, right? I love women. I love being around my female friends. Like, women in general just make me happier. They, I don't have to, like, be like the adrenaline filled man all the time around them, right? And I enjoy that. But because of social media, that type of stuff is going to continue to happen, right? Like, you can't bring your white girlfriend now. I'm sorry, but, like, it's just stupid. There's a lot of people in our past, especially our grandparents era, Sam, that, like, fought for stuff like this not to happen. You're telling me all the stuff they fought for is just for nothing now? That's just not how I want to view it. That's just not how I want this to go. But hey, just me, dude. What are you doing? Okay. But in the beginning of the episode, me and Sam talked about watching the Lakers and LeBron's potential last game. Now, if it is, I'm sad because, like, LeBron, I wanted him to go out like Brady, right? Brady won a title, then the next year they lost in the playoffs. But I mean, I think Brady played for like 3 years, right? Yeah, for the Bucks. And that's kind of how I wanted LeBron's career to end. But if it doesn't end like that, is he retiring, Sam? Or what do you think's happening?
I mean, at the end of the day, the problem with the NBA right now and the problem with being LeBron is LeBron doesn't settle for anything but, like, being the best. Like, as an athlete, once you reach that level, it's so hard to be a loser.
Especially LeBron's level, yeah.
Like Bradley Beal. I hate to... Like, for the longest time, he's been in one of the worst organizations in the entire NBA. And now he's on the Suns. He just got swept in the first round after saying, I've never been swept, bro. It's not going to happen this year.
Well, they shouldn't have been swept, but they did. The Suns got swept. I mean, it is what it is, but
the problem with it's so hard to find a situation that makes sense for LeBron. The first question you have to ask yourself is, does he require a maximum contract?
That's a good question.
What do you think?
Now, if he wants to play with Bronny, and that's like a dream of theirs, which is an admirable dream because Ken Griffey did it with his dad in baseball, and it's a beautiful moment. I mean, you've talked about this before. It could be like an all-time moment. Playing with your fucking son in the NBA?
Yeah.
That's an all-time moment. I mean, if I'm a dad, I get to play with not only do I get to play with my son in the NBA, we score in the same game. To me, that would be more important than ever winning a championship almost. Like, as like a human.
Right.
So, like, Jordan never did that. Kobe never got a chance to do that. I mean, who else has had a chance to play with their son at this level of their career and fame and still put up the points LeBron does? It's unheard of.
I agree. Longevity is cool and all, but I'm a peak guy. I want to look at your peak when you're competing for championships, when you were at your all-time best. And LeBron's just not, like, he's not even the best player on his team, let alone the best player in the NBA at this point, So when you're looking at that, and then the next question is, who drafts Bronny? Because if we're saying LeBron, for some reason, he's still requiring a max, even though he's $1 billion man probably by now, with all the commercial deals, his contracts and everything. It would just make too much sense he has to be $1 billion man by this point.
Yeah.
But, like, does he require a max? And that really, really limits the teams he can go to.
You brought up a good point earlier while we were at work, talking about, like, let's say he goes to the Pistons or he goes to a really bad team because that's a team that wants to draft Bronny to bring him there. I don't know if I want to see that.
And then they win 20. You want him on the Pistons winning 25 games.
That's not worth it to me if I'm him.
Bronny gets 10 minutes a game. And then what? He just rides off into the sunset next year?
Just to say he played with this kid?
Yeah.
I mean...
Or the opposite question is the Suns draft Bronny somehow. They trade into the draft with whatever they have left. I think they have a draft pick this year. So say they take Bronny, and then they're like, LeBron, come over here. We're going to give you a minimum.
I mean, LeBron and the Suns wouldn't be bad. Who did you say earlier? The Bucks?
The Bucks?
Yeah, the Bucks would be an awesome choice if they're able to pull this off. The Spurs, too. He said at one point in his career he wanted to play under Pop.
Yeah.
So that'd be kind of cool to see Wemby and LeBron. And I mean, the whole Bronny thing is kind of like a
side mission.
Yeah, but it's not like you get, because the team that gets LeBron to come to them, you're gonna get the jersey sales go to the roof, the ticket sales, everything in the city is gonna start getting the glaze, the fandom like around the city. Everybody's gonna make money. Like everybody makes money with LeBron coming to your town, right? So that makes sense from a money standpoint. But to him, if you go to the Pistons or you go to like a team that's not as good, the Trailblazers, some stupid shit like
the Hornets.
The Hornets. Is that where you want to end, LeBron? Do you want to end on the Hornets or the Blazers, dude? It's kind of still unreal to see him in a Lakers uniform. Let alone you're gonna see LeBron in a Pistons uniform
or a Jazz uniform.
And just want to put the
Jazz hands LeBron. I'm calling him that.
You know, like it'd be kind of cool to see him go to like the Warriors or the Celtics or like a team where he doesn't have to, like what you said. Maybe he doesn't want to take a max. Get him on the bet.
Have to take damn near a minimum. I mean, the Warriors are the highest salaried team in the entire NBA.
Yeah, so he would have to take a minimum. Someone might have to take a pay cut, right? And they'd be worth it for LeBron for you to come to your city. You're going to make more money in the end with him there versus the other way around.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think he retires.
But does that win a championship? That's the question for the Warriors, because like they'd be giving up all, like they'd probably have to do like a sign and trade would probably be the most sense. I really don't see him going and taking a minimum contract. That just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, he knows his worth at the end of the day.
Okay, so a team like the Pistons could do that for him. You get the max.
Another team that actually has money is the 76ers with Joel Embiid. I'm not a huge Joel Embiid fan, but they have some of the most salary in the NBA with Tobias Harris and a bunch of other contracts just
LeBron
falling off the books.
Wouldn't be bad at all.
But I don't know. I just do the Sixers want Bronny? I mean, because that's a long-term asset at the end of the day that you're investing a draft pick into, and at the end of the day, it doesn't, like, LeBron doesn't matter. Like,
no, it's gonna be Bronny.
It's Joel Embiid's team that he's going to. He is not the best player on this team. You're investing a draft pick. You're investing $30 to $40 million into LeBron.
It kind of feels like it's forced too. Like LeBron's kind of forcing this whole Bronny thing too. Like at first they didn't feel like that, but now it's definitely, I'm gonna make some calls. I read an article where he was quoted as saying he might have to make some calls. Like it just seems forced.
Exactly.
And
at the end of the day, no team. Like I'll stand by this. I think Bronny should have stayed another year in the NCAA, and maybe his stock rises. I really don't think at this point that he's gonna be a G League dweller at this point.
Yeah, after his dad leaves for sure, Bronny's not really gonna be a. I mean, after his dad leaves, no other teams aren't gonna. If he's not really that good, why would I keep you around, bro?
For a couple jersey sales
for the next 2 years, it's because LeBron's on your team.
It's kind of like LiAngelo, you know? Like everyone was like, "Oh, when's he getting signed? When's he getting signed, bro?"
LiAngelo's a good case because in college, didn't really do anything, got in trouble with stealing in China, and it just fell apart from that scene. That it literally from that moment on, it just fell apart.
I mean, at the end of the day, it came down to him just being the least skilled of the brothers. No one wanted him on their team, regardless of the
Name or
jersey sales or the
yeah.
name or anything like that. I mean, unless you're the Bucks signing Thanasis to contracts, there's no one else who's just like giving out favors like that, you know?
And LeBron, if this is it, and he doesn't play another game, his legacy is truly cemented in the top two. I mean, I know a lot of people will probably say Jordan and LeBron are like, they interchange that a lot, and there's a lot of fans who say Jordan, a lot of fans who say LeBron. I think there's more fans who say Jordan as the GOAT. LeBron's legacy is cemented.
It
You
is.
won a title with 3 teams. That's never been done before, right? That's a player winning with 3 different teams. If it has, not a lot. LeBron winning for his hometown Cleveland, being down 3-1. I mean, that was one of the greatest finals I've ever seen. It was entertaining too. I loved it. It was entertaining, and like Kyrie obviously got that game-winning shot in Game 7, but bringing the title back to Cleveland was cool. Winning with the Lakers was cool. So your legacy cemented as definitely top 3, and arguably the GOAT. But I would say top 2, 100% top 3. Duh, like there's no.
Yeah, on paper I'm a LeBron hater, you know.
Mm-hmm. You're a Drake hater too, by the way. But
Yeah. Clout demons.
yeah.
But
And I can get into that later because I have a theory as to why I think both of them are really hated. But yeah.
but LeBron, round of applause. So, number 2 all time in my list. He's had his ups, he's had his downs. At the end of the day, he inspired people to play basketball, which is like one of the best impressions you can have.
It's one of the most important things ever.
Yeah, so many people want to
Yeah.
be him, you know? It's the same thing with Michael Jordan, you know? With Michael Jordan, when he was in the league, when he left the league, he still has his imprint on the league with his shoes and all this other stuff. That's one of the main things in a legacy is like the imprint you leave on your sport.
Oh yeah, Jordan's imprint is undeniable.
But I mean, I've always called him number 2 because of the flaws, because of that Dallas Mavericks series and Jason Terry. Like Jordan never had a moment like that, you know. Yeah, he didn't make 10 finals, but he was also going against Larry Bird,
The bad boy
Isaiah
Pistons.
Thomas,
Yeah.
and all these other great teams in the East. And until he had help, he couldn't win. And that's the same story with LeBron. But then in the playoffs, when Jordan had Pippen and these other guys, he was just able to put it on another level.
Yeah, Kobe damn near won a couple finals with a really bad Lakers team, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he had Gasol obviously, and Gasol was a very, I don't know if I should say superstar, but he was an all-star at that time.
he was a borderline superstar. I mean, at that point, centers were kind of at a rough spot. I mean, the best were like Pau Gasol, Mark Gasol, Dwight.
Yeah, Dwight was. Would you consider Kevin Garnett, or was he a power forward at that
Kevin
time?
Garnett, yeah. I mean, we're just counting big.
But like Kobe basically took 2 Lakers teams that like
Shaq.
LeBron's not going to that Lakers team and winning a title.
No.
I don't think so.
No, and
I don't think a lot of superstars are going to those specific Lakers teams with Andrew Bynum, and they're not winning a title with that team. And Kobe, that's why I'm saying, like, you're right. A lot of these guys needed help. I mean, Kobe needed help too, but Kobe was able to win it, in my opinion, without like another D Wade next to him or a Scotty.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, what you have to look at is just like the domination in the peak. Like when they were at their most dominant, when they weren't on the Wizards with absolutely no help. Like people always bring up this the Jordan Wizards debate. It's like, come on, bro.
What you doing?
He already retired for 2 years at that point. You know? It's
Yeah.
like-
Well, yeah, and like obviously, like he wasn't trying to go there to win. There's no way you're gonna tell me that.
Exactly. He
There's
just
no way
wanted
he
an
knew
extra
that.
dollar to gamble with, you know?
Yeah.
But
He was a gambling addict, so it's just, and I don't think that ever dies in somebody, but yeah. I don't think it does. Like, with like drinking and like the drugs we talked about last week with Emily.
yeah,
I think there's just certain things about people that just never die. I don't think it dies. I mean, that's just me, but
exactly. Um,
LeBron, you had a good legacy, man. Like, I'm proud of you, bro. Like, I know a lot of people hate you. I'll touch on this for a second, but I had mentioned how Sam doesn't like Drake, and I feel like LeBron and him are very similar, right? Like,
they are.
and there's reasons to this, right? Yeah, yes, you could say at the current moment they're the greatest in their like their respective like sport or field. But like LeBron does those like very like he reads the book upside down, right? Like and LeBron's known as a liar.
Starting
Like,
on page 2 every time you see him in an interview.
there's like a LeBron. There's always that LeBron videos where he like lies about certain things, right? He says he's seen that before or done that before, and it's like it doesn't happen ever.
Tries to rap to something and just doesn't know any of the lines.
Yeah,
Just
and like
starts mumbling.
Drake's kind of the same way. Drake will have like these moments where like he just does really, really corny stuff. And I love Drake and LeBron, right? But like I think when you're at the height that they're at, people put you under more of a microscope. And I think that's LeBron and Drake are perfect candidates for that because they're at the height of their power in their respective field, but they just do a lot of dumb stuff, right? And they do a lot of great stuff. Like recently with the whole Kendrick beef, right? When Drake dropped that second diss track with the AI Tupac and Snoop, I thought that was genius. A lot of people didn't. I did. Don't care. And the LeBron's done similar things. So I'm like, oh, that's good. What, LeBron? Like, you're the bubble. I know people don't count the bubble year as like a championship, but to me, I do, though. So,
Have you seen it's an old video of Drake going on stage and being super cringe?
oh yeah, where he's like jumping around and doing the fire's
he's doing
coming
the
behind him. Yeah, no, it's stuff like that, right? I get it. I get it why he gets the equal amount of hate
like
LeBron
Bron
does.
putting on whose goggles he put on the glasses, just the glass from Wendell Carter Jr.'s glasses in a Magic game. It's that kind of stuff. It's like, come on.
Yeah, and I get it. I agree with this. I agree with to a certain extent why they're hated because they just do certain things that. But when you're at the top like they are,
It's hard not to be cringe when you're being seen with everything you do in your life. Michael Jordan would be seen as cringe these days with just how competitive and
I mean, if there was social media, Michael Jordan would have faced the same scrutiny.
exactly.
There's no way he wouldn't have. Of course he would have, right? So, with Drake, he's my favorite artist, but at the same time, I'm willing to admit that I see a lot of things that you do that I'm just like, I don't know, dude. And LeBron's the same way. They both do things that I'm just like not really into. I just don't see the correlation as to why you would do that. But hey, if I was at their level of fame, you guys would hate me. You would. I mean, I say crazy things on the regular, dude. Like, and I don't care. I know my friends were like, Andrew, you can't say that kind of stuff. You're too nah, but I wouldn't care, and so you guys would hate me too. So I kind of just accepted it as maybe the people you treat people who are celebrity differently, but you shouldn't. They're normal people like us, but we have elevated them to a level where they're not normal people, right? But if you break it down, they are normal people just like us. They're gonna say and do cringy things. That's kind of why I ignore it sometimes, because I know that if I was at Drake or LeBron's level of fame, you guys would fucking crucify me.
And that's just the thing with like athletes, anyone at a high level of what they do, they're viewed in such a light and so much respect that it almost seems like that their life gets micro analyzed to a point where they're hated. And yes, I'm a part of that hate in both of these circumstances.
You are, but I man, I actually respect you for that, bro. I actually respect that, like, you don't glaze Drake and LeBron, right? Like, because I feel like there's a good balance that, like, that's kind of why I love Warren a lot. Warren clowns me for the Drake love, right? And I understand why Warren feels that way. He's older than me, one. He's from a tougher city than me, Philly. And two, Warren came up in an era where like a lot of rappers don't do what rappers do now, like, you know, paint their nails, wear purses, and hey, I don't agree with that either, right? But I understand we're in a different era, right? The wearing the purses and nails, like, I just don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't like it either, but I'm not like a super old head where I don't understand it. Like, you know, like I don't get the painting nails thing.
I
Like when
don't
guys paint their nails, like
don't
sometimes
get it.
I've let my sisters paint my nails. I've let Emily paint my nails because they'll ask and I'll begrudgingly do it. So maybe I'm a
Never.
victim of peer pressure, but
You
I
definitely
just
are.
there's just certain things I don't understand, and I'm cool with that. But you know,
Yeah, I was told today that I have to paint my nails to look cool. And
you got to remember something.
That
Okay, the
scares me.
person who told you that, they're an outlier. Okay, this is what I tell her all the time. By the way, whoever's wondering, she's next door, but she's an outlier, right? So
But is she?
out of 20 people who all agree with the same thing, you're gonna get one of them. And I said them because I'm being respectful of their gender, right? But you're gonna get one of them that says what she told to Sam, and then Sam's probably gonna want to paint his nails, maybe.
And paint my hair pink.
Yeah, and then it becomes a why did I just listen to this girl? Right? Because now all the other girls don't like me, but then the one weird one, right? So that's why you know
The one who gave me their actual true opinion was the out.
that's how. Well, you have a point, dude. She does do that a lot. She's really blunt. That's actually why I respect her a lot. But you know, one of the things that I think is funny is that like if I want to figure out if something's funny or not, I'll tell her, right? I'll tell her. And if she doesn't laugh, I know that 95% of people will laugh. I've told her that for multiple years now. I'm like, hey, if I tell you a joke and you don't laugh, I know it's going to be gold with the rest of the crowd. But if you do laugh, then I don't use the joke. And that sounds messed up, but it's just what it is. If
You need to start telling me the jokes they laugh at.
Oh, like I'll tell you what they laugh at?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people, like, they'll laugh at just me doing impressions,
Oh yeah.
right? Because it's the easiest way to get people to laugh. Like, no one's been able to pass this test yet, but sometimes I can just do facial expressions. And then people just start laughing, right? Because, you know, like I'll go at work and I'm like, hey, Emily, don't laugh. Or Alexander, don't laugh. But I'll like this. And I start doing like some crazy Jim Carrey type stuff and like no one can just stop. You know what I mean? You guys are easy,
You're
bro.
just a goofy dude though. So it's kind of like not laughing at the class clown. You know,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
the one weirdo who's not laughing, you know?
Yeah, you don't want to be the one that's not laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're true. To being the class clown sucks, bro. Like I don't wish that on anybody.
Should be celebrated more.
I mean, I won an award for it in high school. And we won. There was like for the
That was an
freshman year, there was like
award?
awards. Yeah, and there was like who's the class clown, and I'm like, what you do? The guy who got mad that he lost, I'm like, bro, you're not the class clown, bro. Like, you need to have an honest conversation. You're not the class clown. You just
Me.
don't put in the work. You can't just go into class and free ball. You have to have a structured, planned like attack on how to make people laugh. It is what it is, you know. What time are we sitting at?
35.
Well, that's not bad. Well, we can end off the night with Sam doesn't want to do UFC cards right now, man.
Yeah, it's been besides like the big pay-per-views, it's really hard to talk about these okay, at the end of the day, for hardcore fans, these cards are fun. But for talking name value, like a guy like you, if I'm not talking about Conor McGregor,
I'm sorry, Sam.
if I'm not talking about John Jones, you don't care at all.
I'm sorry, and I know. I can admit that to you, though. You know.
Yeah, and I know that.
I like being honest. So.
But like the reason I do my content on MMA is I want you guys to get excited about these cards like I do. Like I know how entertaining a lot of these guys are, but it's hard to talk about, you know?
But it's hard to sell it to people.
Yeah, it's hard to sell it to people when they haven't watched them or they're new to the sport. like especially if I talk about grappling, most people are like, I don't want to watch people grapple, you know.
Yeah, I mean, who does those? You know what I mean? But I get what you're saying, though. Yeah. I told you like the Gracie's dad ruined it for me. Like when was on the ground with that one guy for a whole hour on a like a really old UFC event. I was like, what is
That's
it?
rough, but
That's not current day UFC.
but I'm not going to promote a grappler who is just going to hold position. I'm promoting these grapplers who go for finishes. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, this guy's so exciting. He likes to hold people on the ground for 25 minutes and then they get up.
Well, one of the I've told you this before, but your passion for UFC makes me like it more because it's cool to be around people who are passionate about stuff like that. Like it's actually really nice to see. Like not many people are passionate about certain things, right? Like so, instead of you having like a coke addiction, like some people I know, then you have a UFC addiction, and it's great to see that, dude.
Hush on my coke addiction. Okay.
Right? Like you can start that whenever you want, but if that's up to you, right? Like you're grown, but I'd rather you have a UFC addiction for the rest of our life than a powder one, right? So I mean, so the way you talk about it is amazing. There's a lot of people you've put me on. I didn't know who fucking Max Holloway was before all this, or Charles Oliveira. I didn't know any of that. You put me onto a lot of good people, and I'm entertained by it.
That's good to hear.
And so I wouldn't have known about any of that stuff. I keep up with this stuff now because of you, and it's entertaining. I love it. It's just I don't know why I haven't gravitated to it like you have, but I mean maybe that's in the pipeline.
Maybe that'd be crazy.
Like I can't get you to like Drake the way I like Drake, but you still. Sam said he had a good diss track. Sam the other day we went to.
I can appreciate greatness. Like as
Yeah.
much as I hate on LeBron, I I try to give him his flowers, and I'm not trying to pray that he gets hurt. But
That's horrible.
that was old me.
Yeah, that's not you. So it's like that's not me anymore.
My friend's like, bro, you prayed LeBron would get hurt in game 1 of this one series in 2012. And I'm like, bro, I was like 22.
Yeah, well, we all say dumb shit when we're in our early 20s. I try to tell people that, like, hey, you say it now. Say the dumb stuff now, because when you're me and Sam's age, it looks bad.
Yeah.
You can't be 30 preying on people's downfalls injury wise, right? Like, right? But like, if you're Emily and Braden's age, like, yeah, bro, prey on people's downfalls, dude.
Yeah,
Do
I
it.
want all the money. Fuck.
Yeah, dude. Like, snake your friends, snake people. It's like early 20s is built for that. Like, when you're being Sam's age, you can't do that kind of stuff. You can have an alcohol problem and like be visible. Okay. You can. Okay, you can, but you probably shouldn't, right? It's like, okay, think about it, right? If you see a 20-year-old talking about like booze every night and partying, it's like it's natural, right? It seems natural, but me and you have to hide that stuff. Like me and you can't just be out in the open.
I can't be like, yeah, go home and I drink myself to sleep.
Yeah, and it sounds worse, right? Like what? Like go to therapy, dude. And I hate therapy, right? So I mean, so I get it, but with the UFC cards, I think what you should do is that you should just keep making them, putting it out there, and eventually it'll catch on.
I know. It's just I put a lot of work into my analysis, so it's just a lot of work, and I don't know. I just gotta.
And for people who don't get what he's saying, like basically, he's not trying to go on the camera and just spew random stuff to you. He wants to actually come prepared with notes and facts and stats, and he's watched tape and he understands what's at stake here. And he's not just trying to say, I don't know who's gonna win, but I think this person might. Like Sam actually comes with like real like coverage and analysis. You gotta respect that, bro. You know how many podcast episodes I literally in this 5 years, how many podcast episodes I was so depressed that like the day of, like an hour of, I'm making notes? That's not good.
No.
It's never good. Sometimes our best episodes mean you have come from that, but on the like, especially for fantastic reviews, I can't just freeball it.
No, there's just too much information to unpack at the end of the day. Especially in mixed martial arts, there's so many variables: age, size, level of competition you've gone against before, your technique, your ability to stay on the feet, your ability to take someone down. It's just a lot to break down. and then MMA math makes no sense. Like there's so many fights that just end up completely different from how you expect.
Well,
So
yeah,
that,
MMA's. Oh, you're right. MMA has always been like that, which is fun about the sport. You never know who's actually gonna,
but yeah, sometimes it feels like you spit all this vomit about a certain fight, like, and then you're just like, okay, that didn't go how I thought it would.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to episode 145. Had fun today. Like I always say every week, you can catch me and Sam on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere that you can watch this stuff at. Um, Lately I've been doing like smaller YouTube clips. Hopefully that's, you guys can catch the episode before it comes out with those clips. I never used to do that. I used to be the lazy bambino, but but yeah, and you can follow Sam on his YouTube channel too. Every video I've been posting the link to that. So, if you
Appreciate it.
guys want to do me a favor and go follow my boy on that.
Hey, Andrew really sucks at saying it, so please like, comment, and subscribe.
I do suck at saying that. Yeah, like, subscribe. I do suck. I feel really I don't want to like hold people at gunpoint, but maybe I should. So
I mean, at the end of the day, we're putting in a lot of work, and if you guys stayed around this long, it means we put in a lot of work to get here. So
yeah, thank you for if you are at this point in the video, like that's crazy.
leave a comment, tell us what you think about LeBron. I'll bash you in the comments.
Yeah, and until next time, peace.
Bye.
Bye.